Y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
I want to start it off straight, telling all three of y'all stop playing with my name.
Let's go on there. Let's go.
Stop playing with my name.
Let's go.
Let's do it on camera.
Stop playing with my name.
Let's
I ain't
go
gonna
right
say
on
it
in.
So when my name come up, respect it.
Let's go.
Stop playing with my name. All three of y'all, stop playing with my name. I ain't gonna say it no more.
Cause I don't understand the angle. Like what? Like what?
Said it already. Just come to let y'all know. Stop. Put some respect on my name. You understand me? When y'all saying my name, put some respect on it.
Did
y'all finished or y'all done? I ain't got no more talking. Let's rock.
All right.
All right. All right, Buck.
Play Retro.
Hey guys, you're watching Play Retro. Thank you for tuning in. For those of you new here, welcome. My name is Javi. And today we're going to be looking at what I consider to be the most disrespected, misrepresented, undervalued handheld on the market. This is the R36S. Now there's a lot of people out there calling this device just another clone, completely disregarding it as just a throwaway handheld e-waste. I even mentioned myself that I thought maybe this could be e-waste when I first unboxed this handheld. But after closer inspection and spending some time with it, I found that this is far from e-waste. I believe this device is a lot better than people give it credit for, and it's a lot better than it has any right being at the price point it is at. I'm here to tell you guys, put some respect on the R36's name.
When my name come up, respect it.
It is not as bad as people say it is. Like, look at this thing. So actually, before we get into the review, I did want to give a quick disclaimer. You know, I paid for this thing with my own money. I bought this off AliExpress. I will overlay my receipt on screen, so you can see I paid $36.80 for the device, and after taxes, the total came up to $39.57 US, so just under $40. And this thing goes on sale all the time. I constantly see it. I've seen it as low as like $30. You can probably get it lower if you have a welcome deal with AliExpress. So you can get this like as low as like $20, even maybe even lower. But yeah, guys, even for $40, this is incredible value. So yeah, let's get right into the review. I want to start with the unboxing. Okay, guys, so we're going to be doing a quick fake unboxing. Obviously, I've already unboxed this handheld on the channel, but for the people who haven't seen this video, I'm just going to quickly do an unboxing. Have a look at the size real quick. And then some of the details on the back. I want to draw your attention really quick to some of this stuff. It says it has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. That is not true. It doesn't have built-in Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, just so you know. But it does have an RK3326. We'll get into specs in a second. So let's go ahead and open the box. Inside you'll find your console. It's gonna have like this little foam liner inside this bag, and your handle's gonna look like this. And then there may or may not be a sticker back here. I've gone ahead and removed it. It's a pretty ugly sticker, and the battery may or may not look like this, minus the stickers, obviously. So let's go ahead and set this device aside for a second. Inside the box, you'll also find your standard boring stuff. You got your charging cable, you got your cloth, and you also get a screen protector. The cool thing is about the screen protector is not glass, it is plastic. So I actually appreciate plastic. It doesn't break as fast, but it is more scratch, it is less scratch resistant. Okay guys, so let's start with the hardware overview. Just looking to take a look at the outside of the device. As you can see, this is a vertical handheld, and I do have the purple, the transparent colorway. Let's talk about how this feels in the hands. I really do enjoy the way the plastic feels. Like, it does feel nice and soft. I don't know what they did exactly to get the console feeling the way it does, but I gotta say it feels really good. And I want to draw your attention real quick to the transparency of this device. This is one of the better transparency. The purple of this is really nice. I wish I had the orange so I could show you, and the black, but this purple absolutely looks super good. I want to actually draw your attention to the back of this device. There could or could not be a sticker here. If you remove the sticker that's in here, Check out this window. It reveals a beautiful window into the processor of this device. As you can see, this says RK3326. And yeah, it's just really, really nice. But yeah, you can see like here that the transparency is a lot better than it is like here on the outside. But that's okay. I think it does the job. I did want to make a note of how like long this device is. You'll see in the size comparison soon just how long this device is. It just gives you so much space, and it makes the handheld feel just like that much more comfy, which is something I really, really like about this device that I didn't know I would like about it. But yeah, let's talk about these controls. And this is where the R36S kind of shows its price point a little bit. You know, they had to cut costs somewhere, and I think they did cut costs in the actual creation of the controls. So let's start with the D-pad. D-pad I have no issues with. I actually really like this D-pad. Feels better than some other retro handheld D-pads. It's a good size. It has a decent pivot. It's a bit flat, but I have no problem using it. I had zero complaints about this D-pad. Now moving on to the action buttons. This is where it starts to get a little bit interesting. One pro of the action buttons is that they are in the correct layout. They are like the Nintendo Switch layout. You have the B and the A here, and the Y and the X here. Because there's other handhelds on the market that have it flipped, and that just makes it really confusing. Especially, I really like to play like Nintendo games, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. All that stuff uses this configuration. So ideally, I want this configuration, not the other way around. So that's a plus for these. But then, if you look really closely, these are really small buttons. They are on the smaller side. You can see these are connected as well. The A and the X. You press the A. Does move the X a little bit. Same thing for the B and the Y. You see that there. And they are also on the firmer side, so they do take a little bit more pressure to press down. Now, a lot of pressure plus a small button doesn't make for the best action button experience, but one nice thing is that you can just you can adjust this really quickly. I'm going to show you. Okay guys, so I've taken this device apart. You know, all you need to do is unhook the battery from right here. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws you have to take out. Then this back cover comes off, revealing the inside of the handheld. And then right over here, you see these two screws, this one and this one. These are the screws you would use to adjust the firmness of this one. Be the action buttons, and this one would be the D-pad. So you can just give that like maybe a half turn. So this one I've loosened a lot. Can give that about like a half turn, maybe like that. And that should adjust the firmness just a little bit to your liking. My D-pad, I have no problem with it, but it's just something I want to show you. You want to go like this. So let's say this is the action buttons normally I like here. I'm going to go ahead and do a spin like this. And that should bring your action buttons to be a little bit less firm. Okay guys, so let's move on to some of the other buttons. We do have a function button. And let's start select here. I do like the position of these buttons. I always like the menu button or the function button to be in the center of the handheld. So I really like this. They are on the loud side. That's okay. One thing I did want to know about the function button is that it doesn't work right out the box. You can just update ArcOS though to get it to work. You guys can go check out my top 5 tips on how to. One of the tips is how to get the function button working, and then I'll show you that in gameplay later how me actually using it. But yeah, moving away from these buttons, we do have 2 joysticks here, and I want to give you guys a good look at these. So they are Nintendo Switch style like Joy-Con joysticks. They're fairly short and very recessed. They don't go up even past the height of the action buttons, as you can see right here. So there's not really too much range of motion here, and there are not Hall effect. If you are wondering, these are just regular potentiometer analog sticks. So, but they do have L3 and R3 functionality. I'll show you that real quick. You can see here and here, they do click in, which is nice. That's not something you always see at this price point, so you know. And I did want to make a note as well. You know, I want to say usually I'm not a fan of joysticks at all, like on vertical handhelds, but for some reason on this handheld I did find myself using the joysticks a lot, and I kind of want to say that this device kind of changed how the way I feel about joysticks on a vertical handheld. So now moving over to the back, here's another weak point, is these shoulder buttons. One nice thing is that the R2 and L2 are a little bit higher, as you can see, to help differentiate them between the L1 and R1. And they are a little bit loud. So yeah, I did want to point that out because I know it's going to be a deal breaker for some people. I know some people are very sensitive to sound. They do sound, they actually remind me of the RG35XX, the original one. Kind of makes a very similar sound to those. It's not like a loud click, it's like a thunk. So it's not too bad in my opinion. But I know there's going to be some people out there that just are really not going to like this. Back to the front, we do have a mono speaker on the front, right dead center of the handheld, which is really nice. And then we also have on the bottom, we do have these holes on the side, bottom left and right sides. But do not be confused. There's no speaker here. They're just holes for some reason, maybe for ventilation or something. I'm not sure. It's just like a design choice. And then you do have your charging port. So remember, DC is always charging. This is OTG, and then your 3.5mm headphone jack if you ever want stereo sound. Now let's go back to the back. As I showed you before, we do have an accessible battery compartment, which is really nice. This battery is not labeled, but according to the sticker that used to be here, this is a 3500 milliamp hour battery. And I'm getting around, I would say realistically, like 5 to 6 hours on this battery. I do wish it was labeled. I feel like that makes the handheld feel a little bit more generic, but you know, all the same. Now let's move over to the right hand side. We do have a volume rocker here, and we also have our TF1 OS SD card slot. Over on the left side, we do have our power button and our reset button, and then we also have our TF2 game slot on this side. I really wish the position of these buttons was on this side. I'm always used to this side, being that I'm right-handed. So I always mistakenly press the volume button trying to turn it on when, you know, every other handheld has it on this side. So that's kind of weird for this one, but I guess it's not the biggest deal, something you guys can get used to. And then over on the top, we have nothing. I did want to talk about this screen, but first let's get it booted up. There's my signature boot logo. Okay, and this boots right into my favorites list, as you can see. And one of the biggest perks of this device really is the fact that it comes stock with custom firmware in Arc OS, which is amazing. Absolutely amazing. So let me get into a game real quick so you guys can take a look at just how good this screen looks. So you can see my function button works. Look, press, and I'm going to go ahead and restart this so we can see the intro. You guys can have a look at this screen. I always like this game as an example because it's so colorful. And then you can see this is an IPS OCA laminated screen, so there's no gap whatsoever. And then you can see viewing angles are excellent. No matter which way you look at it, the device looks amazing. And this screen is much better than any of the screens at this price point. Even this, compared to the XU10, looks a lot better than the XU10. So if display is something important to you, if you're choosing between those two devices, this device has a better display, easily. For all my Yu-Gi-Oh nerds, check out this card. Whoa. Okay, so I have a side-by-side both games, and you can see this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is the R36S and this is the XU10 side by side, so you guys can see the color difference of how good this display looks compared to this one. You can see here that this looks this has more of a green tint. It's a little bit darker. Even if I adjust the brightness, it still doesn't look as good as this one. So yeah, R36S, amazing display. So yeah, that's the hardware overview. Okay guys, let's move on to a couple size comparisons, starting with the XU10, what I believe to be his this device's direct competitor. Here it is side by side. You can see this one's a little bit taller. Here we have a joystickless device. This is the RG25XX, the non-plus. But the plus and the non-plus are about the same, so it's a good comparison. Now the Miu Mini. For those of you with a Miu Mini, here is our RG Nano. Look how tiny this is. That is so funny. So moving on to specs, this display is a 3.5 inch IPS OCA laminated at 640 by 480 with a aspect ratio of 4:3. We also have this thing's also rocking an RK3326 as you've seen before. This is a quad core, CPU at 1.5 gigahertz. It also has 1 gigabyte of DDR3L RAM. We also have 2 SD card slots. Mine came preloaded with a 64 gigabyte SD card, generic of course. The battery size can range from 3200 to 3500. So our stock operating system on this device is ArcOS, which is a custom firmware, which is really nice. We also have Jelos available. We can also install Amber Elec, and I believe unofficial OS we can also install. And then as far as available colors, we had our 3 original colors were solid white, transparent black, the transparent purple you see in front of you right now, and then there's also this new color which is the transparent orange, which I used in the thumbnail for this video. So now let's just go ahead and show you guys what you can expect from the software of this thing. For those not familiar with ArcOS is a very mature custom firmware. It's very good. I'm just going to show you my setup real quick. So as you can see, it plays nice background music. Let me get go ahead and lower that a little bit. And then I just have like a nice Switch kind of theme going for it. I don't have too many systems or even too many games on this device, as I was just kind of testing it. And yeah, let me show you my games list. I do have a grid view for these. And I just have like my 2D box art. It's just awesome. And of course, if you don't like this, you can change it. So you can just press select and then change from game list view to like basic or even detailed. So it can look something like this. If that's more your style, that's fine. I personally really like grid view, so I always do grid view. So let me show you some of the other systems. For my my Super Nintendo, I just have a 2x1 grid, just because the games are a little bit smaller. So you can see here what that looks like. A lot of great games here. Moving over to Game Boy. A lot of cool stuff. And this is really how I pick games in real life. Like I look at the box art, you know, the box art already has the name of the game on it. So it doesn't really make sense to have the box art with the name of the game and text. It's just kind of redundant to me. Now let's move on into what this thing can actually play. So you can expect perfect emulation up to PS1. So here we're going to be playing some Bloody Roar 2. See, that's the thing too. Like when you're playing the game, you forget about how the controls feel. Like it's really not that serious. I feel like the people saying that, you know, the controls are so bad and blah blah blah. Really, it's just it's not that bad. Like when you immerse yourself in the game, you forget all about the controls. Like trust me, they're not that bad like how people say. I want to say it would be one thing if the buttons don't work or they give you false input or they fall off or something else like that. But these buttons are perfectly fine. They're just a little bit more firm and a little bit smaller. Is that a big deal? No, they still work. They're fully functional. They're serviceable buttons. They work. And that's the biggest point I just want to draw. It's like, it's really not that serious. All right, guys, so we're going to sum this up with my pros and cons for this device so you guys can weigh this for yourself. Let's start with the pros. First of all, it has a beautiful display. Very, very good display. I like the size. It's a large size. You see here, it's like longer. It's more, and that makes it more comfortable. Aside from that, it also has analog sticks, which are really nice and usually can't find at this price point. We of course can't forget to mention the price. The price of this thing is really what puts it where it's at right now. You know, $40. How can you beat that? You know, it's got a lot going for it. Also, the shell is really nice. The transparency is good. I love how soft it is. It feels very good in the hands. Also, it has an accessible battery compartment, which you touched on before. So if you ever need to replace the battery, that's very easy. Also, it comes with custom firmware out the box in ArcOS. And that's just not the only option you have. Day one, when you pick this up, you can even put on Amber Alec. You can put on Jelos. You can put on unofficial OS. And there's probably more that I'm not mentioning right now. The controls are serviceable. They're good. They work. Albeit a little bit loud, but they're absolutely good controls. You can't deny that. And then I wanted to mention the front firing speaker. I think it's good. It's in the right position. You know, if this thing had a speaker on the back, how some of these cheaper handhelds have, it would sound way worse. So even if the quality of the speaker is not that great, at least it's front firing. So I want to highlight that as a pro of this device. And now moving on to the con. The very first thing I want to talk about is the action buttons. Of course, they're on the smaller side. That is definitely a negative, and they're firm, which will bother some people. However, as I mentioned before, this can be tuned by taking the device apart. You can open it up and just turn that screw a little bit, and that will adjust the firmness. And also, over time, I have noticed that the firmness does get better as you use the device, as like you can break it in. I've found. I also want to highlight some of the buttons are loud. The function button is a little bit loud. The select button is loud, as well as the start. And of course, we can't forget about those shoulder buttons. Those are also loud. And that may be a deal breaker for some people. And that really makes, for me, that really does like cheapen the device and make it feel like a worse experience. Also, I want to highlight some of the confusing packaging, because some of the stuff here, it says for here, for example, it says it has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, which does not have. It also mentions the battery having 3200 milliamps, but on the sticker on the back it says 35. So it's a bit confusing. You kind of don't know what you're getting all the time. So I wish they were just honest on the packaging. I just mentioned this, but there's no Wi-Fi and no Bluetooth on board the device. So, you know, for the people who really like to do the scraping and stuff, you're gonna have to find another solution, which has already been found. You can use this. You can connect your phone to this, and then use USB tethering to connect the device to Wi-Fi using your phone's Wi-Fi, which is really nice. You guys can go check out my top 5 tips video for how to do that. Oh yeah, I also wanted to mention another con is also that the charging light does not turn off even at 100%. So when you plug this in to a charger, the light will remain red all the time, even if it's fully charged. So I did want to make that a note. That is a con. But I believe this is a software issue with ArcOS, being that this is probably relatively new on ArcOS. So, but it's just a small thing that the light remains on. So if you're charging this thing, I recommend you guys stay next to it. You know, don't leave it alone and charge it overnight. Just charge it, unplug it, see what percentage is at, plug it back in. It's a little bit annoying. I wish it just turned off, but you know, hopefully we get an ArcOS update and then that fixed that issue. And again, this is on ArcOS, the stock OS technically. But yeah, it's gonna wrap up our pros and cons. You guys can decide for yourselves whether or not, in which way this device leans for you. To me, there's no beating this. There's absolutely no beating this. Devices at this price point oftentimes have worse screens. The screen's not OCA laminated. The controls are terrible. They have a worse chip. They don't have a 3326 in it. This for me is the king of budget. And it's important to highlight devices like this because you get so much for so little, you know? And there's a lot of people out there that they're gonna get their first retro handheld, and they may not have a lot of money to spend. And this is an easy recommendation for me. Just go ahead and pick up an R36S. I don't think you're gonna be disappointed with the R36S and what it has to offer. And to all the haters of the R36S, I want you to put some respect on the R36's name, because I challenge you to name a device on the market right now as I make this video that can beat this device with all the same features: D-pad, analog sticks, 3326 or better processor with a screen just like this. If you guys can find a device better than this for 40 bucks, go ahead and leave in the comments and let's talk about it. If you respect the R36S, go ahead and drop a like on this video. If you're a hater of the R36S and you think it's absolute e-waste, go ahead and drop a dislike. 40 bucks. You get an RK3326, a beautiful screen, Arc OS out the box, emulation capability up to PS1 perfectly, with NDS, N64, PSP, Dreamcast as bonus systems. So you're gonna have a good amount of those game libraries available to you. There's really no beating this. Like,
And put some respect on it.
So you guys, put some respect on the R36's name. I will not tolerate anybody calling this device a clone. All right, guys? If I hear anybody call this handheld a clone in my comment section, well, you're gonna find out.
but yeah, guys, if you made it to the end of the video, I want to say thank you so much for watching. My name is Javi. Check out this cool necklace. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
What up,
we're
what up,
rolling.
what up, what up,
No.
my sexy nerds. Welcome back to Play Retro Hobby.
No,
You
shh.
know?
That's it. That's it. That's it. Hey guys.